Best pod of your day back after the bye. Hopefully everybody's feeling nice, feeling rested, ready to go for homecoming this week inside the Dome. North Dakota is here. It's homecoming week. We'll talk about that with head coach Todd Stepsis. And back to Valley play as well, where the rubber starts to meet the road for Panther football. I'm J.W. Cox, joined every week by head coach Todd Stepsis. Special guests every week as well, and it will be guests plural this time, as we'll have three of the big boys with us from the offensive line up front. We'll get Keean Kamerling, the center, and we'll be joined by Blake Anderson and also Josh Volk on the show. Excited for that, Coach. Like you said it a couple weeks ago, and it kind of started to put the kernel in my head. When you see one offensive lineman, you usually see a couple more. They run in packs, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, that group, there's not another position group, and I don't know if it's just by design what they do. I mean, their jobs are so important, and they get no credit for it. So I don't know if that creates that tight bond where, when you see one, you do see them all almost. I mean, it's like, they love being together. There's an offensive line clinic every year called the Cool Clinic. It's for offensive line coaches, and the symbol or the emblem, for the Cool Clinic is the mushroom, and it talks about that's the offensive lineman is kind of like a mushroom, where it's it's fungus, it's in dark places and gross areas, and it's kind of like playing the offensive line. It's not pretty, but you can thrive in any conditions, if you're wired the right way, and that's our offensive linemen. They're a special group, as all offensive linemen are, and definitely led by a special guy in Coach Nelson.
And that's like, we had a pre-production meeting. That's on the list. What's the mindset got to be like? You get the least credit of anybody. There's almost no individual statistics that anybody tracks with regularity outside of maybe your team when you're breaking it down on film that offensive linemen get. It's totally unique in that aspect. All right, also unique, you come off the bye, you get a chance for the work and the rest, right? You hope some guys that are dinged up get some rest. As you look back on last week and how your guys approached that, what stood out to you as positives coming out of that bye week for your team?
Well, number one, we are much healthier now than we were, heading into that week. Coming off of the game of Utah where we didn't play very well. Number one, number two, we had guys banged up, and so when you have guys that are playing hurt, then that affects the rest of that position group as they have to take more reps. Maybe you can't sub as much as you need to. So, we came into the week, kind of licking our wounds a little bit mentally and physically. But, what was great is we were able to manage the reps of guys we needed to. We still got really good competition during the week. We did a lot of good against good to try to keep our edge and to try to keep the contact prep, kind of in the forefront of our minds. We did a ton of great technique work, and I think we need to be a little bit more dialed into our details and our fundamentals. So, we were all over that. There were some scuffles and fights broke out at practice, and again, it had less to do with them being frustrated that we were 2-2, or less to do with them not liking the other guy. It's just they're competing, and that's the type of MO that we want to have as a team. And so I love seeing guys getting after one another. We need to have more fight, as a team overall. And it was great to see that in the bye week. And so, here we are, coming off that bye week. We got done sprinting and we looked, just as fast as we've been, since we started. The morale is really high because, again, we're back in the Dome. It's homecoming. Everybody's fired up about that. I think the younger guys have a new appreciation because, we did spend some of of our practice time last week where they were the focus, and they don't get to be the focus very much. They're the look team. They're the practice squad. They're the ones trying to make the offense and defense look bad, and so there's not a whole lot of positivity in that. And, this past week, we were on the bye. We didn't have to prepare for an opponent. So, we were trying to prepare our younger guys to be, the next man up and for them to be coached in our systems, to be cheered for by our older guys, because our older guys were calling the plays and calling the defenses. And, I think overall we're in a really good spot, but man, like you said, the rubber meets the road on Saturday. We're starting Valley play. We're going against a team that, their record is identical to ours, but in reality, their record should be 4-0. They lost 2 games in the last minute on the road. So they know how to play in a hostile environment against good competition. One was an FBS team in Kansas State. The other team is a top team in the FCS in Montana. And in both those games, they had the game won. And so they've got to be feeling like, man, here's our chance to to turn this thing around, and win some of those close games. So in my opinion, this is the best team that we've seen this year, all 4 games, and so we got to be ready to go.
We pause before we go into homecoming and before we go into talking about these guys we're going to have on. We've got the absolute brand newest Panther that hit the scene since the last time we talked. Coach Van Wy has his son Bennett. You've been through that. First dad again, multiple. You can't tell a guy what he's going to expect. What it's been like. What has it been like seeing him, talking to him since then, and just kind of the good vibe of that obviously supersedes anything that's going to happen over the next couple of months.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the timing is awful.
Right.
But that's stuff you can't control that. And I love the fact that he could be there. That was one of my fears, and me being selfish isn't about me, but gosh, what if we would have been on the road and his wife goes into labor and he can't be there? Man, I would have felt terrible, that he lost that because of football and because of our team. And so for him to be able to be there, to be present, first time, gosh, so great. And then again, walking around, I think he's sleeping good. He's still got a bounce in his step.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a newness to it. I don't know. But, funny side story to it all is one of our interns, Bennett Seelan, helping out with the offense. That was the running joke. Is like, man, Bennett, you must have made such an impression on Coach Van Wy. He named his first kid after you. And then of course, Riley was like, we had that name picked out before Bennett got here. I go, yeah, I know. But it's just so funny because Bennett is the quietest guy. And, and then, of course, the running joke is like, oh, yeah, he's so cocky. He's going to be thinking that, they named his child after him. And so, yeah, just everything about it, just so cool. I love the fact that our family is growing, So, obviously, Coach Van Wy being a new dad, but then, man, that's a new member of our coaching family that gets to be around, and that was some of my favorite memories as a kid growing up as a coach's son was being with dad at practice. And so I think that's cool that, Bennett now gets a chance to do that.
Certainly fun. All right, you go back to the football and you come out of the bye and you go to homecoming, and obviously there's a lot going on here on campus, celebrating 150 years of UNI. But football and the game is always a central piece of that wherever you are with homecoming. What's been the special part that you always have liked about these weeks, whatever stop you've been at? Obviously, it's your first one here, but what makes homecoming special from your football perspective?
I think over the course of time, and regardless of the program, you want to create an experience that's one of the best of your players' lives. So when they come as 18-year-olds, they choose you, they choose your program, they believe in you, they believe in the program and the institution and the future that it can get them. But then when they leave, they would do it all over again in a heartbeat. And so, to be able to then see people come back, homecoming. I mean, they're coming home. We were their home for 4 to 5 years or however long they were here. And so just to see people coming back that bleed purple and that have so much pride in the Panthers, rooting us on like they never left, like they're still a part of the program, which they are. I think that's something that's really special about here is, when guys come around that are former Panthers, they do feel like, hey, man, it's like I never left. I still feel like I'm a part of this thing. I still feel like I belong. I still feel like I matter. And that's just awesome that we get to be a part of that. A lot of great things about being a head coach. I'd say that's definitely one of them is, gosh, now I get a chance to interact with some of our former players who are just, boy, they were champions here. They had won a lot of games. We had a lot of success while they were football players. But boy, but they're champions in life, man. They're great dads. They're great businessmen. They're great workers. They're great, husbands. I mean, all of those things are so prevalent across the board, whether they just graduated recently or whether they're part of that Mud Bowl team. I mean, everybody that I've met that were former Panther players are special. And just that they get to come back, for homecoming. A lot of them, maybe they can only come back for one game a year, and when's homecoming? And so that's the game they pick, and it's special for us to be a part of.
All right, and that homecoming game opens up Missouri Valley Conference play. It's your first run as a head coach in the Missouri Valley, but far from the first time you faced a Valley team. As you look back on those experiences, how do you boil down what it is that makes this conference elite from top to bottom?
Well, it's great. Number one, talent. I mean, you see moving forward, there's going to be, hey, they got an NFL guy at tackle. Like this week, they've got a great offensive line, and so they've got a prospect that's probably going to play at the next level, at tackle. And so, you're going to face great talent. So great size, great speed, great physicality. All the teams in the Valley play football how it was meant to be played. They are 60 minutes in the middle of the ring, and it is a bloodbath. It is, who's gonna get up and keep moving forward, that old Rocky quote, because I can guarantee you both teams are going to get knocked down a couple of times, but who can continue to press forward, who can continue to swing, and that's something that this league is known for. It's been like that over the course of time. When it was the Gateway Conference, it was the same way. And it's just gotten better. It feels like year after year after year, the great teams have stayed elite. The good teams have become great, and so on and so forth. Man, it just feels like the floor just continues to rise to where anybody can beat anybody, and then just the coaching is so great. When you look at offensive, defensive, special teams, man, the schemes are dialed in. Man, there's not a whole lot of flaws or a whole lot of things that you can see where, man, okay, that's an issue for them. We need to pick on that. Or, hey, we love that matchup, we should try to exploit that. There's not a ton of that. So it is really about who can execute and who can continue to fight. Not only for the outcome that they want, but also just who can continue to be their best regardless of what's going on in the game, because the games are crazy.
Crazy games, lots of fight. A lot of it goes on the line of scrimmage, and we will talk to three guys that will be right in the thick of that come Saturday, 4 o'clock, North Dakota in the Dome, homecoming conference opener, and we'll have three offensive linemen with us when we come back, Blake Anderson, Keean Kamerling, and Josh Volk. Stick around. It's the best pod of your day. Back after this. Back with you, segment 2, best pod of your day. And yeah, we promised we were going to fill up the set, and here we are. The three big men themselves from the offensive line for the Panthers, Blake Anderson, Josh Volk, Keean Kamerling. And if you couldn't see that yet, I was pointing at them from your left to your right as you're looking at these fine gentlemen. Guys, appreciate you coming out here. I guess the first question, we were just talking about this, the first question as offensive linemen throughout your lives, why is it that offensive linemen run in packs? Like where there's one of you, there's going to be multiple of you. Key, let's start with you. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it takes a special breed of guy to be an offensive lineman. We're all a little messed up in the head. We just got something wrong with us. We want to hit people every play, and I think that's why we all relate to each other so well.
Josh, you echo most of that?
Okay, yeah. I think we all stick together is because, we kind of stick out like a sore thumb. So, I'd rather be hanging with big guys instead of little guys, no offense, we kind of just stick together.
I would personally say just O-line on the field, you need 5 guys working together, so it's one of the only position groups where you need everyone working on the same page, getting on the same page. So just the tighter you are off the field, the better the O-line's probably going to be, and just we like hanging out and eating food too is good. So I like hanging around guys that like eating lots of food. So
shared passions.
Yeah, of course.
That's good. No surprises there, right, Coach? They're together.
No surprises. And your job is thankless. If you think about it, you're not on the front page of the paper. I have that Cowboys cup that I always drink out of. And everybody always asks me if I'm a Cowboys fan, but it actually has 4 offensive linemen on the cup because I'm like this. You never see this, where there's marketing with offensive line. You never see it. So I don't know. That's always what I thought. I never played offensive line. My dad did. He played offensive and defensive lines back in the day. It's not built like this anymore where you didn't sub. So he had to play both ways. He had to play on the punt team. And so, sometimes it's nice being around guys that, hey, I know you did a good job because I was right there next to you. And so it's just nice to be around guys that appreciate you a little bit. So I could see that too.
With all that, knowing that, the gratification or the praise, there's not a lot of that you guys are going to get day to day. Blake, we'll start with you. Where does the motivation then come from? I mean, to keep doing this, it's one of the most thankless jobs you could have out there on a football team.
I'd say the motivation comes just to see the team succeed. Like, the only real stat an O-lineman has is the scoreboard at the end of the day. I mean, I guess you can look at sacks, pressures, yards, ran for, stuff like that. But really, at the end of the day, the only stat like an O-line should care about is just the scoreboard at the end of the day. So, yeah, win or loss.
Josh, what about you?
I think about playing for the guy next to you. Together you want to see all 5 succeed. So just seeing the guy that you trust next to you, to the left and the right, to do their job, you're going to do their job, and it's kind of fun to see it on film. You see all 5 guys doing the same thing. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty rewarding in kind of like our own way, because we don't get all the credibility, but if we see all 5 guys do the best job we can do, it's pretty neat.
Key, when you guys take us into that film session, because I feel like obviously the coaches understand what you guys are after, but even maybe other guys on your team aren't, they're not on the offensive line. They're not trying to do the same thing. You're not trying to do the same thing they are. What's it like in a film session when you guys do see that and you guys are in lockstep and the synergy is right there? What's the response like, and what's that like for the group as a whole?
I mean, it feels great for us, but at the end of the day, just like all the other guys said, if we don't score, if we don't get the first down, it all that means nothing. So, I mean, it's just being consistent with that. It can feel as good as it can to do your job every play, but ultimately, like Blake said, scoreboard's all that matters.
I was thinking, Coach, the team we're going to play, they've got a nickname for their offensive line. It's based on their area code, but, I don't know. If we need to come up with a nickname, seems like scoreboard's a pretty key word. I mean, the scoreboard offensive line, right?
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. All right, we'll
These guys are
it.
creative, though. They probably could come up with something way cooler than that.
Yeah, we can workshop it. Blake, I wanted to come to you because, you're one of the 3 oldest guys on this team as far as, time that you've been here with the Panther, and you're roommates with the other 2. They're not offensive linemen. You got Jack Creeves on the defensive line. You got Tyson Kershaw, wide receiver. Well, how did that relationship develop? Is that just purely because you look around the room and you 3 have been around the longest? How did you guys become roommates, and what's that process been like?
I mean, I remember the first day I got here, we were getting equipment from the equipment room, obviously, and I just ran into Creebs, and he was way smaller than he is now, way smaller. But we were just talking. Then throughout freshman year, lived in the same dorm, all that stuff. Got to know him. So once we moved out of the dorm, we were kind of like, hey, should we get a place together? We looked, found a place together. Actually had Wes Hine was with us for a while, and then he's at med school, or he's going to be very smart, going to be a doctor or something. So he moved out, going to pursue that, and then TK, I think he was living, I don't know who he was living with last year, and then they're gone, and I guess it was just hey, we've been together since the beginning in the class, same recruiting class, only 3 left that came straight from high school to UNI, so we just kind of linked up, got a house together, and lived happily ever after, I guess. I don't know.
So far to this point, I mean, It's October. But so what is the house dynamic like? I mean, you're just pretty chill. Are you guys hosting things? What goes on there with the 3 of you?
Who's the messiest?
Oh, there you go.
Who's the messiest? None of us are really that messy, but I don't know. I'd probably say TK, and I'll give a special shout out to TK's mom. She comes and cleans our house every once in a while, so it helps out. Because, I mean, I guess we're 23, 24, and we still have a mom cleaning our house, so I don't know. It's helpful, though. Shout out her. Yeah.
Love that. All right, Josh, we're going to go in the Wayback Machine a little bit.
Okay.
Because I've got a quote for you that's actually from your dad that I found, and it was during, it was in the newspaper during your recruiting cycle, all that. He said, he didn't want to make enemies. He didn't want to hurt their feelings. He's not a mean person in life, but when he gets the helmet on, he's mean. And he said he's courteous and polite and soft-spoken, but then mean as heck on the football field. So you hear that, and that's your dad's assessment of you in high school. Now, as you're down the road and you've been in college football and around that, How has that changed? How has that shaped kind of who you are, and how does that play out on the field for you?
I would say it still remains the same. I feel like I'm still soft-spoken, nice guy. I don't really like, hitting people, but, like, when I put on that helmet, I'm going to try to hurt you. Like, that's what's kind of, like, evolved. Because in high school, I was the bigger guy on the field, so I was able to push, guys around. But, like, here, you really gotta have something different with you to be able to do that and be mean.
What's the difference between that? Because, people that haven't done it, haven't done what you guys do every day or every game for 40 to 50 plays. What's the difference between just standing there and blocking someone, or not having to be the aggressor like you said in high school because somebody's smaller, and then actually having to take the fight to somebody and try and go knock them off of a space? What is that even like?
You really got to, like, flip a switch because it's not easy, because these guys are just as good as you. So, you really got to flip that switch and, take that hit to the guy because he's going to want to hit you. So,
All right, so your time here, these two guys, same question coming for all of you, but who's been the toughest Panther defensive lineman that you've had to do that to in your time here? When you think about doing that and who that was toughest against on your own team, in practice, in camps, all that, who comes to mind?
I would say Caden Hoteling.
Okay.
And then honorable mention, Jack Creeves.
There you go, still doing it.
Yep.
I would say Jared Brinkman.
That's what I was thinking.
And then honorable mention, K-Dub was really hard to move to sometimes. He was just stout in there. And then Caden, I mean, we've had a lot of good D linemen. I mean, then Caden was, Caden. He just kind of had some extra rage to him. Yeah. Then this year, I'd say Owen and Creebs are right up there too. They're both good players. So.
Key, you're in the middle. Like, these guys have spent a lot of time on the edges, so that kind of, who they're going against. What about you? Being in the thick of things.
I got Brinkman, too.
Okay.
I mean, I came in as a walk-on true freshman playing scout team against the returning Valley Defensive Player of the Year, and, I mean, he just walked me up and down the field. But after a while, you start to figure it out, and it makes you that much better when you get to go against guys of that caliber.
You were coached by a guy of that caliber on your offensive side. One of your coaches in high school was Brad Meester, who was a Panther, goes into the NFL. What was that like? What do you remember about him kind of pouring into you early on before you even knew all of this was what you would be doing? And does he still kind of keep in touch?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He keeps in touch all the time. He's always texting me, asking how things are going, what we're doing, and just getting into the scheme of stuff. But Meester really took me under his wing when I was in high school. I mean, I'm still a little smaller than these giant guys next to me, but he took me in and he said, listen, you're going to have to be perfect in everything you do technique-wise. You're going to have to do the right things all the time because you don't have the natural advantage that the other guys have. So he really fed into me and molded me into the person that I am. And, I mean, like, I think about COVID time back when we couldn't get all together, and I probably not supposed to do this, but he would open up his house because he had a weight room in the basement of his house, and he'd say, hey, I want to see you in here every day, come over, lift weights. And between my junior and senior year of high school, I put on 60 pounds. I went from being a 200-pound offensive lineman to a 260-pound offensive lineman because I had aspirations of moving on to the next level.
We'll talk about some food when we get into the quick hitting because we got to do that, right? With you guys out here, we got to do that. As you guys look ahead, and this is one I want to get a thought from each of you on, what do you want when you guys step on the field? You'll open up conference play. You've all been through it in the Valley. You know what that is about. You know how difficult it's going to be. But when the other team sees you and the other team gets done playing against you, what do you want to be the thought that's going through their mind about the Panther offensive line unit and what you guys just did for 60 minutes, basically? Keith, start with you.
That hurt. That's all I want them to think. I don't want them to be able to play another snap. I want them to think, man, like, every part of my body hurts right now, and I never want to play that team again. Like, every single time we step onto whether it's the dome or we go somewhere else, we make that our own, and we just want to crush people's will.
Josh, what about you?
I think when we break the huddle and we're kind of jogging to the line, I want those defensive linemen to kind of look in their eyes and be like, oh, man, we're about to get worked. Tough. Just be tough.
All right, Blake?
Yeah, I would say toughness. Coach Nelly talks about it all the time. Just, I don't know, toughness. Just be like the toughest unit out there, toughest unit. Whoever we're playing, wherever we're playing them, just be tough.
All right, and then before we go to the lightning round, this is kind of a precursor to that, but same one for each of you. What's the best or funniest thing that Coach Nelly has ever said to you guys? I'm sure it could be a long list if we sat here and wrote it out just because of the guy he is. But best or funniest, what comes to mind when you think of, I'm going to remember Coach Nelson saying that for a long time? Who wants to start?
I can go.
Anything?
All right,
You go.
John.
I can go, yeah. So he always opens up the meeting door, and, he's got his backpack on, and he's got a big old smile, and he's like, "There's the guys!" He's always saying that. I will never forget that. He's just so happy to be around us, so it's just awesome to see that.
Love that.
I love that he calls everybody hot shot.
Yeah.
Hey there, hot shot. It's the best.
Boy.
Okay, you got anything?
Just trying to think of something I can say that I can say, but
That was a good one.
that was a
Yeah.
good one, yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Sets the tone. He can be serious too. I mean, he's dropping the nuggets of wisdom.
He had a really good talk. So all the coaches got a chance to talk to the team during training camp. Remember, he had the slideshow.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was
yeah.
really good.
I think it's kind of hard to pick one thing out. I think that's why what you guys are trying to think, like, man, because it does feel like he just been there, done that. I mean, he been there, done that as a player, been there, done that as a coach at the college level, been there, done that as a coach at the high school level. I think the thing I admire about him the most is he does it for the reasons that it should be done. Like he is not in it for the fame or the fortune. He's not in it, to be a stepping stone to something better. He's in it for these guys. He's in it for the relationships. I don't think there's a whole lot of people that care about our team, each individual person, whether it's a player or a member of our staff or support staff or this place, as much as he does. And so everything that you would want to be embodied in a Panther, like I think of him, and I've only been around him for 8-9 months now, and so you guys, it's just there's a lot of things that maybe off the top of your head you don't think of, but there'll be something that'll trigger, like, oh man, you remember when he said this or said that, and I that's the first thing I thought of was, like, man, he did a really good job. He had that slideshow. He's like, I've got like 60 slides. Like, man, we're gonna be here all day. But it was just cool hearing him talk about, because he was going through one of our core values, love, and so he was going through all the things that he loved and all the people that he loved, and again, there's pictures of these guys on there, which is really cool.
Love it. All right, let's go into the lightning round, and we promised food, so let's start with if you guys were going to host a dinner, what would be the main dish that you would cook? So you're responsible for getting everybody there and cooking it. What would be your go-to if you're going to cook? Yeah.
I'd say burgers and brats. Mass produce them, easy. Volk's going to eat like 5 of them, both burger and brats. So don't want to run out, so that would be my pick.
All right, good.
If I had unlimited money, we're all getting ribeyes and asparagus. That's what we're doing. But, burgers, hot dogs, hamburgers.
How are you making the ribeye with this unlimited money?
Ooh, on the grill. Everyone gets a medium rare. No question asked.
Could hire a chef with unlimited money.
Oh, that's true.
That's true.
Gosh, that's true.
I was going to say, I'd probably just do, I don't know. My first thing that came to mind was burgers and brats or hot dogs.
It's the volume.
I'm going to say.
You can't go
it's
wrong.
easy. It's
Okay.
going to fill you up.
Well,
Have some
what if
protein.
you had what if you were on death row and you had one meal? What would that be? One meal, like, okay, this is my last meal, or you could look at it in a more positive way, like, what's the one meal you would eat every single day for the rest of your life? Because it's that good.
I'd probably go with a Parmesan crusted New York strip, medium rare, side of garlic mashed potatoes.
Nice. From anywhere in particular, or just
Any place that cooks it good?
yeah?
Well, I actually just went to this place in Des Moines called Johnny's, and I had that, and I mean, I was in heaven. It was the best thing ever.
All right.
I'd probably go tomahawk steak with some potatoes and asparagus.
Beautiful.
Asparagus, the theme with you.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
favorite vegetable?
Yeah,
All
that's a
right.
vegetable
Big
I'm on
asparagus
right
guy.
now. Yeah, yeah.
Bacon wrapped or no?
Yeah, or broccoli too. I mean, I mix up the vegetables. I like all the vegetables, honestly.
No, that's nice.
I'd probably go probably my high school O-line coach. He has a restaurant in Omaha. He actually just recently passed, but Paisan's Pizza. He has best ranch, best pizza, everything. Like the one order is the Terman, so that's my head coach's name in high school.
Okay.
But it was sausage, pepperoni, and cream cheese on a pizza. Best pizza you'll ever have.
Yeah, he got us all one of those pizzas after we played Nebraska, because that's where Blake's from, and we all had one for the bus ride home, and I mean, it was amazing.
Good pasta, good wings, everything.
Yeah,
Ranch.
get Portnoy out there to do one of them
Pizza reviews.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be sweet.
That'd be a good one. All right, Blake, we'll go to you. What this one just for you. What movie could you watch over and over again without getting sick of it?
Probably Top Gun.
Original?
Yeah, the original.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my wife would be like high-fiving you right now. She wishes I was Maverick. Not Tom Cruise, just Maverick, the character. She thinks Tom Cruise is a little loopy, but she likes Maverick. So, man, you guys would be best friends.
All right, let's go. Everybody, what's your non-sports hobby? Your number one non-sports hobby, Josh?
Gosh, I like to golf.
Yeah.
Do some golfing. Honestly, my brother's got some rentals, so when I'm not doing football, I'm working on his rental properties, doing stuff like that.
Working with the hands.
Yeah.
I like fishing. I haven't had a lot of time recently, but I love to get out and go fishing. I don't have to listen to anyone or anything. I can just sit there and just cast and reel over and over again. Clears my mind.
Okay. Any kind of fishing? You fly fishing?
Bass fishing mostly, yeah.
All right. Very nice. Blake?
I would definitely say golfing, just with my dad's brothers, friends back home, these guys. Gone a couple times with him. Still needs more practice, but
What does that turn into when you guys get out? Yeah, when
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
I played with you and your dad back in May. That was
that was fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You had that hole in one.
Yeah, you got a whole one.
Yeah.
When was that?
I think 2 summers ago now, or
Okay.
last summer. I don't even know.
Was that at one of the Panther things?
No,
No.
I wish. Could have gotten
You
a
would've
free
won
car.
some. Yeah, exactly. That would have been good. All right, for everybody, or actually for Josh. Josh, what's your favorite breakfast food?
Ooh.
Breakfast food only. No asparagus. I mean, I guess you could, but
I would take a breakfast sandwich, like
Okay.
a bagel with like an egg or an egg.
what?
I'm sorry, a what?
Bagel?
What?
Bagel with an egg and a sausage patty. That's
There's where my wife would high five, because that's how she says bagel too. But anyway, go ahead.
yeah. So with sausage and an egg on top of that bagel, or inside the bagel, that would be kind of my go-to breakfast.
I'm just glad everybody else responded too. But, all right, good. I like it. All right, for everybody, think of your stage name. If you're an actor or a musician, what's your stage name? Or if you're, you get a screen name for video games or whatever. What are you going with, Keean?
My Xbox name's always been Muscular Goal. Whatever the Xbox punched out when I first made my account, that's what all my buddies were doing at the time, like the auto-generated one, and mine was Muscular Goal. So that's what I've been for like 5 years.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go. I like it. Blake?
I don't know. My gamer tag's always been like BlakeMan7710. My old, like my OG football number 77.
Okay.
I carried the ball a little bit. I guess I was 20 for a little bit, and then I got fat again, so couldn't carry
Put
the
that
ball.
behind you.
Then my baseball number was 10, but
Okay.
yeah, I don't know.
Josh,
Something like
what
that.
High voltage.
High voltage.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's a good one.
That is a
About
good
knuckle
one.
duster.
Yeah, knuckle duster too. Yeah.
You don't want to see Knuckle Duster in the Fortnite Box Wars. That's
No,
for sure.
you don't.
I want to go back to Blake. How pumped were you guys? Did you guys watch any football this past weekend?
Yeah. I
When
watched
you
the Packers game.
when you saw the tackle from Alabama catch a pass.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys all
No,
of a
I was
sudden-
I was actually watching that game live, and I didn't watch a ton of football this weekend. I was just trying to stay away from it a little bit, like clear my head, think about something other than that. But I don't know. I was watching that game for some reason, and I was like, "Dang!" Didn't score though. I think I would have scored, but I don't know.
That's your running background.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought for sure I would get a text from somebody saying, "Put it in," and there's going to be somebody in your guys' position group.
My dreams are shot. They're never going to throw me the ball. It's going to be Blake, if anybody.
Yeah, you got the best shot. At
Yeah.
it, yeah.
Who's got the best hands though? Like who should he draw it up for if we need it on the offensive line group?
I mean, I touch the ball every play.
This is
He
true.
does.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
best hands on the team are usually quarterbacks because they're always catching snaps. So yeah,
All right.
doesn't surprise me.
All right. Keean, we didn't get your singular. Let's see. Favorite household chore? Least favorite
favorite?
Household chore.
Folding and putting away laundry.
Ooh,
I
terrible.
hate it.
You just got piles of clothes everywhere. You take them right out of the dryer.
Oh, it's not even like doing the laundry. That's fine. I just stick it in the machine and it pops
Yeah.
out after a while. But I mean, like just folding and like then I get my girlfriend's laundry in there and I don't know where anything goes. And if I put it away, it's not a good deal. If I put it away in the wrong spot, it's not a good deal. It's just my absolute least favorite.
That never changes,
No.
by the way. Yeah,
Never.
that doesn't change. All right, last one for everybody. And we kind of talked about this all the time, and you guys mentioned a couple of guys that are on the team now. But favorite teammate, whether it's you can dominate or you like how they challenge you. Favorite teammate to go one-on-one against when when you're in those drills, whether it's camp or whatever. Who pops in on this year's squad that you like to go against?
I'd say the first person that popped in my head was just Owen Ostrowski. We had some battles in camp, just all camp long. I don't know. I feel like I moved out to tackle, so that was a good test. Like, see if I can play tackle or not, because I've been guard the last couple of years. So it's kind of uncomfortable position at first, kind of trying to grow into it. So I'd rather go against Owen. And then, honestly, Jamarian was a good mix-up, too, just getting a little more speed and then more power. Just like seeing the two types of DNs you'd go against. So,
Josh, what about you?
I'd be like Jack Krebs. He's kind of like a little bulldog, He's pretty low to the ground, and he's hard to move, so it's always a good test to go against him.
I love going against Storts. I mean, he's got a deep bag to him. Just when I think I got him under control, he pulls out something that I haven't seen him do in 2 years, and then he gets past me, and I'm looking backwards. I'm like, where did that come from? Like, it's crazy stuff.
It's got to be a good skill, too. I mean, you go against these guys all the time, right, to try and keep it fresh. Good on both sides.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think it's a good competition between the two groups. I like watching it too.
All right, before we wrap it up, you guys have the floor. What do people need to know? What do you want people to know about whether it's your position in general, this year's group? You've got time to speak for the offensive line at this point. Give yourselves those flowers that you don't generally get in the course of a week. What comes to mind? What do people need to know?
I just hope by the end of every game, everyone respects us and knows that we're out there to win the line of scrimmage. It may not happen every play. Sometimes we get beat, but every time we're going to go out there and give it our all. So,
All right. Josh?
I would say just like, man, those guys were physical, just like pushing the defense around. Like, I want those people to kind of like, the people from the stands be like, wow, that was such a physical game, And that's what we're trying to strive for, this coming week. Like, it's going to be a physical game. So, Nelly's going to prepare us, So we want it to be a physical game.
So, kind of the same things they were talking about, just back to what I was saying earlier, just being a tough unit, be the toughest unit possible. Just have 5 tough guys out there. Sometimes I guess we were rotating earlier, so whoever's playing in the game, whoever gets in, just be as tough as possible. So,
All right. That's your
Sign
group.
me up.
That's your group.
Sign
All
me
right.
up.
All right. Best pod of your day. Thank you guys for coming out. It took you guys all of like 15 seconds to respond yes after I checked in with Blake and see about the idea in general. So glad we could do it. Exciting stuff. Oh, and as I told you, Justin Piney, it's kind of his idea to be like, if you're gonna have one, you got to have more of them on there. So you can thank Piney for the FaceTime as well.
Piney knows.
Piney knows. All right.
Knows well best.
If you missed any of our Best Pod of Your Day episodes prior to this, you can catch them on YouTube. You can catch them wherever you get your podcast. Just search for Panther Point of View. And again, it's homecoming week, all sorts of festivities. I got it wrong last week, but it's homecoming.uni.edu. Find out all the ways you can get involved on campus. The biggest one to know, 4 o'clock, be here in the Dome, 1:20, Panther Walk by the statue. You see these guys walk into the Dome. Just have a great time this weekend, and it's going to be fun inside the Dome. We'll talk to you then on the radio, 3 o'clock pregame, 4 o'clock for that kickoff. Best pod of your day. Thanks so much for watching. Go Cats.